Yo, Pokey26 here, and I just wanted to do a quick review on the Battle Aces beta, the game itself, my experience with it, and all of that. So, the game itself, definitely more fun than I thought it would be. I wasn't exactly particularly expecting to be able to play it or try it out, but I did try it out, and then I ended up playing it quite a bit. And like I said, it's definitely pretty fun, and I think it fits a nice niche where it's like very fast-paced, quick gameplay. Your average game length is 4 to 6 minutes, I would say, and that I'm pretty sure is very tempting to a lot of people, because a lot of people can fit in a quick 4 to 6 minute match or like multiple of them, right? But other games like a game of Dota or something, right? You go into that and it's like, do I have time for this? Do I have time for a potential 50-minute match or whatever? So yeah, if it's nice niche where you can just jump in and play. The game length as well is capped at 10 minutes, so you know it won't take more than 10 minutes, and that in itself is very valuable for anyone who is restricted by time, so on. Yeah. For the game itself, like I said, quite a bit of fun. I played a little bit of twos, quite a bit of solos. Currently sitting at exactly 9k MMR, which is around top 100. I think it's like slightly out of top 100 currently, but I've been top 100 in the past. Obviously the MMR fluctuates quite a bit, especially based on what opponents you face, because you can lose and gain a lot more depending on who you face. Yeah, the game is fun. Try it out. The units, I do think there's probably more to be desired, but that's definitely something they can expand on, whether it be new units, whether units cycle in and out, whether they have more units with abilities in the future. There's definitely a lot of room here. But at the same time, I think they did a decent job, because there are a lot of units that are interchanged between each person's deck. You'll see some players using Scorpion, you'll see some players using Recall, some using Gunbot, some using Wasp. That's just the tier 1 units, and then some people even sacrifice their tier 1 anti-air to fit 2 of them instead. People are mixing it up, and there's no real consensus on exactly what is the best at the moment, but certain things do better and worse for certain other things, so I think that in itself is cool. That being said, some of the hard counters are a little too much of a hard counter. Valkyrie is really good anti-air. It is tier 3 though, so I think this one's like okay. But something like Destroyer, for instance, I think is too good at taking out, King Crab, Crusader, Mammoth. Its damage is just too good that I don't like some of those hard counters. So there are some things that are not the greatest in my opinion. But that being said, sometimes your opponent doesn't even have those units, and then the Destroyer is kind of wasted. And then, that's just how it is. Even when something's super good, if your opponent doesn't have the unit that it's super good against, maybe it's balanced in that respect, because people can change their decks up to out meta the meta essentially. But yeah, they do need to figure out exactly how much war credits they want to give out, which are the currency for purchasing units. Pretty sure it's going to be reset in the actual game, and you're going to have to purchase them again, not like carry over from the beta. Pretty sure, at least. I don't know. But yeah, when first entering the beta, it was like 10 to 18 war credits per game, whether you win or lose. and now at the end of the beta they bumped it up a lot. It was like 300 to 700 more credits a game, with units costing, I can't really show the cost, but units costing anywhere from 300 to 700 each themselves. It's like now you can get a unit every game, but before it was like, you know, you had to win 20 games or like play 50 games or something to like afford another unit, which I don't know. I don't know where exactly the right number lies, but before it was maybe a little bit too much of a grind, yet at the same time it was achievable enough. You could definitely get to the point where you could afford all the units, but yeah, well, we'll see how they figure that out, because that is one of the ways that you can put money into the game, because I believe it's going to be free to play, and then you can either purchase units quicker as one of the ways, which is fine. Like, as long as they're unlockable in a decent, timely fashion, I think it's fine as free to play. Do it that way. The other method, or the other thing they have currency go for is or currency, yeah, like money to go for is like cosmetics, I believe. But yeah, I think that's fine. The model is fine. The game is fine. I will say it will be nice if they have more maps at some point, because right now you're just kind of playing the same map over and over. So it would be nice to have a change of pace, whether the map have like a bigger map or a smaller map or whatever, that changes up the dynamic of how many bases you take right at the start, or like how aggressive you can be, things like that. That will definitely be good for the game in the future if they have different maps. But I do worry about how they implement it, because if they just throw in the maps and you can just get random maps, it's kind of bad to not know what map you're playing on beforehand because of how you structure your deck. So you need to be able to set a certain deck per map, or search only a certain map, or certain maps, so that your deck applies to those. Because you don't want to get caught with one deck that doesn't necessarily fit on a big map or something, right? Let's say you have a very fast-paced, aggressive deck, and there's a big map here. You don't really want to, roll into the big map and be like, wait, I actually need mortars or something to play a bit slower, just, defensive. Make sure my worker lines are defended and just expand a bunch or something. I don't know. Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't even know if mortars would be the right choice on those sort of maps, but you get the idea. Basically, it needs to be done properly so that you don't get stuck with the wrong deck on the wrong type of map. But otherwise, yeah, a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I said it explicitly before, but yeah, I think it fits the right niche where a lot of players like to have a quick, fast-paced game to just jump into, whether it be in between search times or load times on other games, that they can just play a game of this, or whatever the case may be, or whether they're waiting for food to finish and they can just pop up 1 or 2 games of these. There's a lot of instances where you can just pop out this game, play real quick, and then be done. Or you can just play lots of games and have a lot of different experiences, because there's so many games you can fit in an hour or whatever. Yeah, definitely cool design. It is a bit simplistic at times, and the deck size is a bit limiting sometimes. I honestly always feel like I want at least 1 more unit to fit in here, but yeah, that's also part of the fun of it, I can see as well, because you do have to craft your deck to do as best as it can with the limited slots. Yeah, overall, I would say this game in the beta state that it's currently in is like it's like a 8 out of 10 for me. There's definitely some things that are annoying, like mortars, for instance. I think are not a fun unit. I don't like. It's the type of unit I don't want to play myself because I especially don't want to get into mortar mirror. But it's also not fun to play against. You know, there's definitely some units like that where I'm just like, I don't want to face that. But I think that's a thing in pretty much all RTS or just games in general. There's always going to be something that players don't like to face or don't like to use, and it's just that's part of the game. But it would be nice if there were better ways to counter it sometimes rather than just either brute forcing through with heavy melee or attacking tier 3 versus snipers or whatever the case may be. Anyways, that's getting too much into the meta. The game itself, definitely solid, definitely a lot of fun. You don't always encounter super annoying things like mortars, and even when you do, sometimes you do just roll over them because you're just better. So it's fine. You can definitely catch them out anyways with like blinks or something too. There's definitely ways to play around it. There's definitely a lot of different counters, counter play to everything, so it's fun. But sometimes, like I said, the deck size is a little limiting. That it would be nice if there was a little more counterplay to some of it as well. But I do respect keeping the game simple and only having the 8 deck slots too. Anyways, like I said, I think it's definitely a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Not sure if I would rate it higher or lower than that, but yeah, like an 8. So it's good fun. Try it out if you have the chance in the future when it actually releases, or maybe it has another beta. I'm not actually sure if they're going to. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing how the game evolves from here.